Hey Lee, hey everybody.
Hey, how's
Hello.
everybody doing?
My sisters. Hopefully, our guests are coming in. Go ahead and say hello. I see Francesca. Welcome, welcome, welcome
Hey,
everybody
hey.
to another great episode of Vibe on Health, our friendly health chat. So I see Francesca's in the room. I see Angela White is in the room. Angela, glad you could join. Thank you, Francesca, who's a faithful participant each and every show. She hasn't missed a show, and now she's inviting her friends. So this is wonderful. I'm
Thanks,
excited.
Francesca.
Hey, Francesca, how are you? Thanks
Francesca
for joining us.
is the wonderful, lovely mother of my new son, Tom Don.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. That's
it's
always a blessing.
so,
Aw.
yeah.
One day,
Yeah.
family.
I got a few texts on my phone saying, "Hey, I'm waiting to come in." So I'm looking.
Okay, she
Yeah,
ready.
you know how we do it. We're gonna give people time to come in and join us today. And we're looking forward to an exciting show.
Yes, yes.
And I'm really, really honored. Hey, Sade, what's going on?
Hey, hey,
Hey.
Sade.
Hey,
How you doing?
thank
How
you.
are you? How's the family? Yes.
Where are you at, Teresa, aka TT? Looking for you now. I got a text at 6:59. I'm waiting. Let's
Oh,
go.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, okay.
Praise God, praise God because we're able to bring relevant information that people can apply and not have to try to figure it out on their own. We're in a shared journey here, and that's always a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Sade says, "Hello, ladies. You look great. Thank you. We feel great, and it's great to be here." And like Dawn said, I have to just give her credit for following her inspiration to pull us together to do this virtual,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
all on board. Like as soon as she called, we immediately were like, "Yes, yes, let's do it. Let's do it."
Mhm.
Sure did.
Make
Yes,
it
we did. Didn't even like, no, let's do this. This is a great idea.
I'm,
That's true.
wow, I'm
Yes.
there. I'm there. Come on.
And
So this is our fifth episode, and we have, um, you know, decades of. I'm not trying to tell anybody's age, although we're not afraid of age,
It's true.
no,
but we
True.
no.
have decades of
Mm-mm.
experience, as health coaches, as certified herbalists, and we'll get introductions started in a few minutes. Um, in fact, we could start that in a right away. Missy's here.
Hey, Mitzi. Thank you for joining us.
Mitzi is faithful about coming in here too, and we really appreciate
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes.
I was just saying that Dawn pulled us together, and we're going to keep doing this thing to inspire our community, to exchange information and share out information. We're going to have
Yeah.
upcoming shows with special guests. In fact, Sade TV is going to be a special guest next month.
Looking
Good.
forward to it. Yes.
We're really
Mhm.
looking forward to it. So this is just a good community to invite your friends, share the link, and tell people to come on in because we got hot topics and good answers and responses for the needs of our community.
Yes.
I have to
Yes.
say, before we even start, let's give our disclaimer. None of us are doctors. None of us treat or cure any diseases. So if you're under doctor's care, and I'll repeat this time and time again, if you're under doctor's care and you're on medication and prescriptions, don't stop doing anything that you're doing. Consult your doctor before you
That's right.
exercise or
That's
take
right.
any tips that we share here, right?
That's right.
We want
All
Yes.
right.
everybody to be
Mhm.
on point and to be healthy and to do it the right way. So, so with
Yes.
that, I'll say that I'm Sheila Hobson. I am a certified health coach with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition out of New York. I'd like to inspire people and motivate people and support people to get healthy the natural way. And one of the things that I noticed is that when you adapt or adopt healthy lifestyle changes, it rolls over to your family, to your children, to your spouses. And so, as women, we can empower each other to create a legacy of not only health, not only good health, but which equals wealth. So,
Right.
that's what I'm here for.
Yes.
Let's hear
And
from, hey, but how about you, Marguerite? What makes you?
Well, I'm known as Mom's Herbs online. I've been using that tagline for a long time now because I started off with a blog back in the early 2000s, motherknowsbest.net. And from there, the name kind of just stuck. So now it's my Twitter, it's my Instagram. And, I use it for my Gmail. If you want to ever send me an email, it's momsherbs at Gmail.
Oh,
And what I have been studying is natural health and herbs. I have a real noisy family, so excuse me. But
life.
natural
we get it.
Yes.
and herbs, and I'm also a massage therapist, and I'm getting back into my art, visual artist, and it's actually a therapy too because art is relaxing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
excited about all that.
And our third co-host, Dawn, tell us about what you do and why you're here and your passion.
Yes. Well, my name is Dawn Haley, and many of you know, not so long ago, I was very sick. And by the grace of God, and that's all, by the grace of God, the Lord surrounded me around a great support staff, and I've got one here on the panel, Sheila Hobson, who, in spite of her emotionally dealing with the news of it, she just armored up and just, hey, Dawn, let's try this, let's try that, let's follow this, and now, because of God and the will to want to get healthier,
Yes.
I just have made it my passion to share information with anybody who wants to learn about getting healthier, because getting healthy is a lifestyle. It's not a one deal shot thing and I'll try that, or it's a comprehensive plan of action to get healthy. And so I just thank God for the ladies on the panel, because we bring it, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. And so that's
Yeah.
my story. I'm just, personally, I just love sharing any information that I can scrub and find and share with our audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So Francesca is saying that Angela is her girlfriend. They grew up together. Thank you so much for inviting Angela, and thank you for being here. Just want to show some love to the people in our room. We got Body by Brazil
Hey,
here.
Lottie Bob Brazil, how you doing?
Brazil, right?
All
But
right, that's a
anyway, we
that's
glad
another if
that's
you don't mind me saying, that's another warrior in the field
yeah,
of
yeah.
healthier, so getting healthier. So
Get up her
she's
mind,
on
turn things around,
it. Mm-hmm.
healthy and
Yes,
strong now. I mean, just a walking example.
a walking example.
You're
Yes,
dedicated and you
yes,
commit, right? You invest in yourself. You take a chance on yourself. And
yeah.
doing. I know I made a long, man, 2 pages, and it probably wasn't 2 pages, but a long list of stuff that I needed to work on. And I was revisiting that list the other day, and I'm like, yeah, you kind of knocked this out. You got that one down. Still got a few things to go, but it works when you commit to yourself and invest in yourself. It really goes a long way. And so
Right.
today we're going to talk about hormones. And who could tell me quickly, if you could type in the chat, when you think of hormones, when you hear somebody talk about hormone health or hormone imbalances, what's the first thing that you think about? Does anybody want to share?
That's a
What
good question.
would you
I
say?
got one. I got one thing on my mind. Menopause.
Right, right, right. So
The dreaded heat.
yeah, yeah, hot flashes, that whole thing. And usually when you say hormones, you think of, if you're not older, if you're not, because there's the premenopause, there's the perimenopause, there's menopause, and there's postmenopause, and all those like kind of range within your age. But when you're younger and you think of hormonal issues, people think PMS,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they think
Yeah.
And that's kind of like your immediate thought. Or the next one is the big one is menopause. And hormones, men and women have hormones, and men and women can have hormonal imbalances, right? And so I just want to kind of put that out there, because even though this show is kind of for the ladies, you can also take this information back for your guys as well. And I know I have friends that say their husbands have cycles too. So I don't know,
Yeah. Well,
because
guess what?
The mood
Men,
swings.
yeah, I was gonna say men need to learn about hormones as much as we do, because unfortunately, as we age,
yeah, yeah,
hormone shows up in our body development. In other words, we have those little pouches that have become belly fat, which it creates health issues if we don't figure out a way to manage it. So,
that's
and
it.
oftentimes our men can lead, their tummy can lead them more than ours. So, because they have other things going on, but
Yeah,
a lot of times men don't think about hormones. They just think that's a woman's problem.
yeah. If somebody is saying they think of PCOS, they think of menopause. Francesca said hot flashes. Karen said hot flashes. Everybody is like,
Yeah.
for these hot flashes, please help me balance my hormones.
Yes.
Like Dawn said, a lot of times some of the signs that you have a hormonal imbalance are that rubber tire that's around the waist that you can't get rid of. And I remember being younger, like in my thinking, why do these older women always get this in the front? They like the
Mhm.
butt in the front, and I'm like, how?
Now you know.
I had to go there, because some days, and when you're in church, you just see this going.
Fan, or that's a thing you can put into your phone that has like a electric fan. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh
buddy.
yeah, they had a.
Yeah.
I used to
Yeah.
wonder, like, why did these women let themselves do that? But this is just something that naturally happens, and that fat
Right.
that tire goes around that waist, and it's hard to get rid of. But I wanted to start with addressing what are hormones, right? Because we hear hormones and we don't really even know what those are. And there's a lot of science behind it, and I'm not going to get real technical here, but um, I can tell you that hormones are chemicals that are signals, that are messengers in your body. They
Right.
send messages through your bloodstream to your different organs, right? So really your hormones are the big bosses.
Yep.
Our bodies are put together wonderfully, and everything works together, where the hormones, their mission is to deliver the messages. So they tell you different organs what to do and when to do it, right?
Right. Right.
And so when those things get out of balance, then it can show up as disease. And so you want to pay attention, like we always say, please, please, please pay attention to your body. Like, don't expect to be well without paying attention and listening to your body. So when you see some of this, and we'll put these pictures up later, but some of the symptoms or signs that you might have a hormone imbalance is weight gain, just I'm having so much trouble. I'm doing everything right. And I just, for the life of me, I'm eating healthier, I'm eating less, and I just can't seem to lose weight.
Right.
Hormones to be imbalanced. Um, Severe fatigue, and not just like feeling tired, because we all get a little rundown and need to rest and restore and rejuvenate. But we're talking about when you're just like chronically fatigued and don't have energy to do your normal functions and routines, then that could be a sign that you have a hormone imbalance, right? Um,
Right.
you have decreased sex drive, which happens as you get older because your hormones become out of balance. Hair loss, thinning hair, again, what we call your monthly cycle, breastfeeding, pregnancy, and all of that, and all of the things that women do. We need estrogen, but we also have testosterone as women, and men also have estrogen. So even though we might have a dominant hormone as a woman or a dominant hormone as a man, here's how it applies to everybody, because you need to have more. You need to have a good balance to maintain maintain health and vibrancy. And so, digestive issues. I'm checking my notes here just so I don't miss anything because there's so much information out there on hormones. Like I said, hormones are the big bosses in the body. They're telling you what to do and when to do it. And so there's so much information on it. Hot flashes. If you're having hot flashes, yep, menopause is starting and you are having some hormonal imbalances. Other things that can cause hormonal imbalances are stress. So you can get really stressed out and have hot flashes. Here's some of the signs again: weight loss. I think I mentioned these. I'll try to read a few more. Loss of libido. We talked about sex drive. Hot flashes, number 3. Number 9, dry eyes, even. Number 4, insomnia and sleep problems. I remember I never had a problem sleeping when I was like perimenopausal or premenopausal. I just couldn't sleep. I was waking up in the middle of the night and I'm like, what in the heck is happening? I didn't think I was really that stressed or anything. And I'm like, why do I keep waking up? And it just got to a point where you just kind of deal with it. But it's these things are related to hormones again. So there's ways that we're going to talk about not only some of the signs and symptoms, but we're going to talk about some ways to deal with these things. And of course, because this is our health chat, and we're vibing on health, we're going to talk about the natural ways to do it, because to balance your hormones. When I say the natural way to do it, the it is balancing the hormones. And so we need balance in our lives. We need balance in our hormones. So don't get freaked out about it. Just let's, pay attention to some of the things that we're going to share today and figure out what we can do. I see Teresa is in, and thank you, Teresa. You look beautiful too, even though I can't see you already. Right. So, and not only do we want to look good and feel good, and we don't want to go around, being in a meeting and then you got to pull out a fan while in the middle of a presentation, with hot flashes, but it happens. But really, you want to just make sure that we pay attention to these signs so that you can avoid disease, because some of the imbalances, depending on which organ, remember I said the hormones are chemicals that run through your bloodstream and it affects your organs and your glands. So if your adrenal glands, for example, that sit behind your kidneys, if they get too overworked, then you're fatigued. And then there was a picture, we just had a picture of the belly fat that popped up. So pay attention to the signs before disease happens. Stress, we said, was a cause. Could lead to diseases like PCOS, eating disorders, hypo and hypothyroidism. Yeah, and of course we know that pregnancy is known for, when your body is going through so many changes to be able to push out a human being, your hormones are just all over the place. And so, sometimes when we talk about hormones, it's not always a bad thing. Like, we go through a lot of changes as women with pregnancy, but we need those hormonal changes and fluctuations in order to get to the end goal of having a child. So I want us to just think about hormones more naturally, and know that you can fix it, right? Because we have superpowers, we're superheroes, we take charge of our health, and we can fix things, right? We don't have to wait on anybody else. We can show up and be our own rescue. So I know Dawn is going to talk about food. So um, a lot of times when you look up information on hormones, you see so much information about um, everything except for food that causes imbalances. The GMOs, the pesticides, the chemicals that we add to that get added to the food. So it's better to eat, more whole plant-based foods. And Dawn's going to talk about that in a minute. I think you're going to go next, Dawn.
Well, you can go ahead and lay some good stuff on the table, because we can never get enough
Okay.
about eating healthy, and
Okay.
because that's, I mean, we all struggle with that. I mean, I don't care if I, tell you that I'm doing, a great job about eating the right things. I dip in there every now and again. So,
Man.
it's just, that's just the way it is. But the key, as you were stating, is you got to eat more, healthier foods, because your body is just not designed to be putting dealing with the stuff that we put in there. It's like, what do you want me to do with that? Okay, I'll stick it right there. What do you want me to do with that? All right, I'll stick it in between the thighs. So
Yeah. And I was sharing with I'll share with the audience what I shared with Dawn and Marguerite about a week ago when we were talking about our topic for tonight. In preparation, I was like, I was eating really healthy salads, um, mostly salads, fruit, vegetables, and I wasn't even cooking them, so I was eating raw.
mhm.
Seeds and nuts, smoothies, juices. And then I decided to treat myself because it was time for a birthday party in the family, and we're going to cook out, right? So we're grilling and we got hot dogs. So I try to buy the best hot dogs that are out there, kosher, grass fed, organic, all this stuff. And I went on a binge. So I had a hamburger, a beef hamburger, which I hadn't had. So I'm like, it's summer. I've been eating good. Let me have a hamburger. Then it turned into leftovers. So I had a couple more. And I just started feeling horrible. I couldn't get up in the morning. I was sluggish getting up. I couldn't sleep well at night, gassy, um, irritated. And then I was sitting, so about after a week and a half of just kind of splurging and eating whatever I wanted to, I was sitting on the couch and I got a hot flash. And I was like, why am I feeling? Because that had
Mhm.
stopped for me, right? And so
Right.
I mean, after just like a week and a half to maybe just 2 weeks of trying to indulge in this food, I'm like, if I had been coaching myself as the health coach I am, I would have got a journal and wrote down everything I was eating.
Mhm.
But rather than even doing that, I was like, what you were doing before, what you did now, just go back, revert back. And so, but once you have this bad food, like Dawn is describing, it's hard to get that and those things awaken in your body. It's really hard to reverse that.
Yeah.
Let's give you some tips here. Um, Teresa Bennett says, great talk. Thanks, sis. We appreciate your feedback. Um,
Yeah.
so here are 5 good foods that help with balancing your hormones. They naturally have micronutrients or compounds within them, chemicals within them that address some of the issues related to hormones. And that would be avocados, which is a fruit because it has a seed in it. So healthy fat. Avocados help. Um, and if you can't get organic, right, you're worth the investment. Organic apples,
Mhm.
whole thing about an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It really does, because apples have flavonoids in it and antioxidants, and they help with a lot of the balancing of the hormones. It lowers cancer risk, etc. Blueberries, right? You hear a lot of talk about blueberries because they're antioxidant rich. They lower your blood pressure. They help with insulin resistance. So, and there's even been a study where for 3 weeks, a group drank blueberry juice every day for 3 weeks, and they had a 10% reduction in their insulin and their cholesterol. So, blueberries are really good, and you can try blueberry juice right from Trader Joe's. Hint, hint, hint. Not trying to promo Trader Joe, but that's where I get mine from. And I throw it the blueberry juice with blueberries in my smoothies, and it really works well. Pomegranates. Dawn has talked about the benefits of pomegranates before, but they're anti-inflammatory. They are full of antioxidants. They're a seasonal food, so right about now in the fall, you're going to see more pomegranates. Buy them, eat them, get
Yes.
organic if you can, and then
Yes.
apricots. And I just happened to have picked up some dried apricots. So I was going to show you. These are the Turkish apricots, and they're dried. Normally I get organic, but I just got what I saw this time. And apricot seeds are good for preventing cancer. Uh, Anecdotally, we're not saying it cures anything, right? But the apricots are full of uh, phyto phytotestosterone, and the really good thing about apricots is they are like fake. They're like a fake estrogen. So if you're having less estrogen, here's a good way to up it a little bit with dried apricots, right? There's also drinks that you can have, and I'll run through the list really quickly. Fermented teas, green tea, smoothies, like I mentioned, where you can use your healthy juices and add your antioxidant fruits and superfoods. So that's a really good way to get a balance in a dense micronutrients is through your smoothies. Um, Apple cider vinegar, which doesn't taste good, but it's really good for you and normalizing your balancing your hormones and herbal tea. And then I always like to talk about supplements because with all of the things that go in with our food now, we need as much extra help as we can get. And that's what your supplements basically do. So you don't want to rely on any one thing. You want to have food as your first option, resting, making sure you're not stressing it more than you need to. But you can also add ashwagandha. And if you need to talk to me about any of those, just email me at she's healthy at gmail. There's medicinal mushrooms, holy basil. I just recently bought some organic holy basil tea. I have a basil plant, but holy basil is a little bit different, and it's a herb. And Marguerite, I think, is going to talk more about herbs. So I don't want to spend all the time, but here's I wanted to show you one other. Here's an organic reishi mushroom packet, and I get these a lot of times, like at TJ Maxx and those kind of stores, and they're a little bit cheaper than they would be like at Whole Foods. But you can try something like that too. Throw that into your smoothies, throw it into your tea, and you've got it. You're on your way. You're on your road to balancing your hormones. Let's hear how you're going to land back on that, Dawn.
Well, hey, yeah, I was enjoying what you were setting on the table, but
Thank, thank you.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time on food because my Sheila just really covered a lot of things. Basically, when you're trying to get your hormones in check or recharge, you got to start putting the healthier things in your body. I mean, it's just no way you can battle disease without the right kind of fuel. So, but and then two, I also want to talk about what can we do to increase our muscle mass. And if many of you follow me on my Facebook page, I'm always talking about walking, and I just incorporated weights in my walk. So I'm actually almost running with the same benefits, but I'm just walking and I'm using weights. And you don't have to use a lot of weights. You can just start off with some small weights, and as you get stronger, then you increase them. And that's going to help build more muscle, which will help elevate and help manage your hormones so that they're not flying all over the place. So those are the at least in terms of exercise I want to talk about. Of course, there's a lot more, but if you could start using free weights, I didn't really start respecting free weights until I'd say about maybe 4 years into getting healthier. And so my daughter used to always tell me, Mama, people just do not realize how valuable weight training can be. And I used to just kind of brush it off. And then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? As I'm getting older, it's getting a little harder to get this move this weight around. So as soon as I started doing that, I began to notice a change in my body dimension, not necessarily weight loss, but just, as we get older, things sort of, go out a little bit, if I can use that word nicely. But the other thing,
Dawn,
yes,
I ask a question. So you're talking about not like wearing the ankle weights when
no, free
you
weights.
carry weights as you walk
Yes,
and increase.
yes,
So
right,
kind of
free
like
weights.
3 pound weight.
When I started maybe, I think I started with like 3 pounds, 4 pounds. They were light. And
Okay.
then now I've worked my way up to 12 pounds. And
Are
so,
you just holding
uh,
them or are
yep.
you
You know what you want to do, if you know of someone who can correctly show you how to lift weights, because you want to correctly lift those weights. And that's why I say you want to try with the light weights and learn the proper procedure of lifting weights, because you don't want to strain something. You want it to be a natural lift. And you're
yeah.
not like doing what you see people on, with the heavy weights, what they're doing. You're just making a smooth move going up and down, just up and down as you're walking and feeling that, that lift. And then you're going to start to sweat more because your body is doing several things at one time. So your calorie is burning on your walk, and its calories are burning in your lift. So
Okay.
you're doing a multiple of things to help your body lose weight and also trim. Because
Thank
sometimes it's not always the losing the weight, it's the trimming.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you for
people get a. I'm sorry, what was that? Was that a
I just
question?
said thank you for clarifying that for us.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. Now
so
the other thing, and I was up until about, I think I said 1, but I think I was up until 2 o'clock, maybe 2. But I started doing intermittent fasting. And so I bought this book, which we're going to have some links that you guys can research and do your own homework. But I bought this book. Can you see it? It's called The Fast Diet. And so I kind of rambled through this book very quickly, and then I saw the one protocol that I was going to use. That's it's like a 6-1 or a 5-2, and I'll talk about that a little later. What that is. What intermittent fasting is all about is there's a period of time that you do not eat and you're just taking in water. And it's usually, some people can do it for 24 hours. Some people do it for 36 hours. There are people who, eat all crappy and then they do a 3 or 4 day fast. Now, when people do 3 or 4 day fast, they definitely better have a doctor's have a doctor following them, because that can be dangerous without eating for 3 or 4 days if you don't do it properly. But the reason I started with doing intermittent fasting, and I'm just going to read, because my brain, I started doing something a little different today, and my brain is trying to adjust to what I did, and I'll tell you what I did just in a minute. But let me tell you why everybody who's listening to us right now should consider intermittent fasting, as long as medically it does not interfere with your health. So listen to some of these points. Okay, intermittent fasting changes the function of cells, genes, and your hormones. The blood level of your insulin drops significantly. It helps with the human growth hormone, which is something that our body has to continuously repair itself.
okay.
Because if it doesn't, then we're going to be dealing with a lot of aged diseases.
Yeah.
Uh, it repairs the cells, and there is a beneficial. It changes the several genes and molecules related to longevity. That
Yeah.
key word, longevity. Intermittent fasting can help you lose weight, obviously, for the reason that you're going to be eating less, you're going to be bringing in less calories, and then you'll be giving your body an opportunity to reset itself. So that just makes so much sense, as long as it's done in a healthy way. Because a lot of times people want to, limit their calorie intake for a long period of time. With intermittent fasting, is intermittent. And intermittent fasting can reduce insulin resistance, especially for those that are dealing with type 2 diabetes. Um, Intermittent fasting can reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the body. And what's so important about that is, when your body is acidic, inflammation is usually the precursor of that process. So, doing intermittent fasting helps reduce it, and then that helps you possibly and potentially prevent some sort of preventable disease. Intermittent fasting may improve your heart health. Intermittent fasting, again, we talked about cellular repair. One of the things when I was researching yesterday, oftentimes we are on this what they call this American diet. We eat too much animal protein. That's what I want to say, animal protein. And some people may say, I don't care. I got to have my meat. But what meat does, let me make sure I'm telling you the right thing here, because I was writing notes up the wazoo here. What animal protein does, it raises your IGF-1. And what that is, that's a growth hormone. And you want to look at it as if if we have so much protein in our body is always go 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 go. And if you think about a car, if we're constantly driving our car and we don't get it repaired or fixed, ultimately it's going to stop on the side of the road. Well, that's what too much protein in our bodies will do. It'll keep us going, 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 going with no time to repair. So if the cells are not repairing itself, then
Mhm.
guess what happens? We get sick. So, and the other, so I mean, so that's intermittent fasting, may help prevent cancer. It's not saying you won't get it, but it may prevent it. uh, Intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting helps the brain. And one of the things that I was learning from my research yesterday, the reason that it helps the brain is back in the Great Depression. During the Great Depression, people were forced to do intermittent fasting. And so when you're in a stress situation and you're not eating, then what happens is cells in your brain start to replicate more because now you're using your critical thinking thoughts. So by fasting, that's what's going to help your brain to create new cells. And I was like, boy, that's interesting. They're even going as far as to say it could also prevent possibly Alzheimer's. Now, can you get that? That, I mean, they have to do some more study on it, but the science seems to think that intermittent fasting can actually help, even if a person is going through that disease. So the why. So why should we do intermittent fasting? I just read them to you. There are several ways people do intermittent fasting. One way is it's called a 5-2. You eat for 5 days and then you do for the I mean, I'm sorry, you eat for 5 days and then for 2 days you only eat like 500 calories. A lot of people tend that are doing intermittent fasting, they tend to use that one. The other one is the alternate day. Now that to me would be kind of tough. What it is, and I guess I should take that word tough out. But what you do is you feast and then you fast alternate days. You feast and you fast alternate days. And then the other one is a 36-hour fast. So you find a day that you don't do you're not as busy as you normally are. You would fast for 36 hours. Now the one that I started because I was just all over the place with researching this intermittent fasting. But the one that I started just today is 8 hours. So I would eat something and then I wouldn't eat anything until 8 hours. So that means that would put me like eating two healthy meals a day, and then I would go to sleep with a light stomach. And so you ask yourself, okay, this intermittent fasting does sound interesting, right? If I hope that's something that you guys are saying after I just read this information to you. So I'm hoping you're saying this intermittent fasting is something I'd be interested in. I would recommend, because if you haven't fasted for a long time, it can be very difficult to do, because right now I'm telling you, I struggled, and I do intermittent fasting. I struggled not eating something for 8 hours. I don't know why, because I've done a 24-hour fast, but I struggled with this 8-hour break. So what I'm saying to you, why don't you, if it's something that you're interested in, do your research. I put all those links up there. That it's some really good information that you can sit back and just sort of listen to it and kind of get a strong feeling that this is something that you want to do. And
Mhm.
if that's what you want to do, I say start off doing a 12-hour fast when you go to bed.
Yeah.
Make your meal, your last meal. If it's 8 o'clock, then you should not be eating until 8 o'clock the next day. Now, if you can begin to work on that and get that, be pretty successful at that, then I'd say try doing, because I know many of us say we don't we eat constantly. Most of us do, because stress is just an automatic mechanism there.
Yeah.
And so if you can get that 12-hour down, pack, pack. Yes. If you get that down, then I would say the next step is try not to eat 4 hours apart. And then once you become successful at that, then increase it to 5 hours. And then once you get good at that, increase it to six. And then if, hey, I got this, then try your 8 hours
Yeah.
and see how that works. But you got to start slow, because you won't, this is not fasting can be a struggle if you don't pace yourself. And
Yeah.
so, but it's something that we all should be doing. And then I'm going to leave this, and then I'm gonna hand it over to our next beautiful host, Miss Marguerite. There was a study back. I talked about the Great Depression. There was a study during that time. They assumed that people would be sicker because they weren't eating as well as they were eating before. But what they learned was that people were healthier because they were forced to do intermittent fasting.
Mhm.
And then lastly, when we think about our forefathers, they hunted their food, so they weren't eating all the time. They were probably doing more intermittent fasting
Yeah.
before they sat down and really ate a good meal.
Yeah.
And so it goes to show that we're trying to force our bodies to do something that it is not created to do. And intermittent fasting is something that we all should incorporate in our program, and it will help our hormones.
Yeah.
And there was the report I studied. It said if you did it for 5 weeks, you will notice a big difference in your health if you start incorporating intermittent fasting.
That's so
So
true.
that's pretty much my presentation today. I hope I
Yeah.
hope somebody's like, you know what, I gotta check. So check out those links,
Mhm.
and take some time to learn about it, because the one thing I can say, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, when I was sick a long time ago, the one thing I had to do was to learn about the whys. Because if you don't understand the whys, it makes it hard to stick with something. And that's with this intermittent fasting, I would say learn as much as you can about it and begin to apply it very slowly.
Yeah. And we thank you so much, Dawn. That was awesome. That was excellent that you
Yes, it
expounded
is.
on that topic in that way. We have talked about intermittent fasting before, and you just gave us some links now. I'm going to check out this book as well, The Fast Diet, because I've experimented with intermittent fasting before too, and had a lot of success with it. Didn't I? So I need to get back to it. So I'm so glad
Yeah.
you brought that up.
Yeah.
And
And no,
the,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
the best, um, if you're doing it on a daily basis, the 8 hour window is probably the best. So that would mean that converts to, like, if you start eating at 10, the last meal should be at 6. So that,
Right.
you know,
Right.
8 hour
And
window to eat. And then after that, you don't eat. And I know people that have done it consistently and just dropped all kind of weight, got energy. I also
hmm
a young man that for years has done intermittent fasting, feast and then fast, feast and fast.
right.
The
Feast
other
and
day,
fast. Right.
and
Yeah.
he looks, you can't tell how old he is because he
Right.
talk about eliminating oxidative stress.
Yeah.
And the key is you're allowing your body to actually give your body digestive rest from taking
That's
the
what it is. Yeah.
chemicals and toxins. And it's like if you put a whole bunch of toilet paper in your toilet right now, rolls and toilet paper, it's not going to flush out.
It's not gonna flush. Right.
All of that
Right.
food
Right.
in your system, it doesn't have time to
Right.
eliminate, to break down. Your body doesn't have time to repair. So then you get
Right.
inflammation and illness like Dawn. I just wanted
Right.
to add to that, but I want to hear from you too, Marguerite.
Yes, Marguerite. Yay.
Information about
Kind of hard to land back after those two reviews. It's like,
Yeah.
wow. Yes, that was great information. And I have to say that since I've been a part of Hormone Health, it has truly motivated me to get on it myself. Because a lot of things you do know, but you look at yourself, you're getting older, and it's like it's time to break it on down. And so I'm so glad to be a part of Hormone Health. It's really inspirational to me. And in fact, next week I'll be making 59. I'm very excited
Yes.
because it's a blessing to hear. I mean, we've been losing people. I know in my family and everything, and I know a lot of family members who didn't make it to 60. So
Yes.
my prayer is to, this next year go, try to get myself as fit as possible and really go hard. And by the time my 60th birthday, my goal is to be fit. And
Amazing.
all the great ammunition and information today. And I just have to say, with my experience as a herbalist, it's interesting that when I decided to become a herbalist and share a lot of the knowledge and information I came upon, and people found out I was a herbalist, actually hormonal issues was one of the number one things people would contact me about. People wanted to know natural remedies on how to manage situations like fibroid tumors. I had a huge amount of women contacting me wanting to know natural remedies for fibroid tumors. And I have been able to give people programs and they saw success. They had the fibroids to shrink and they were very thankful. But of course, you have to stick with it. Like Don was saying, it's not no 1 minute thing or one diet you do for a month, but a total lifestyle change. And what we were finding, and since so many people have come to me with not only the fibroid tumors, endometriosis, menopausal challenges, it's so many things that women deal with that I really started to look at it a little closer myself and try to figure out, what is going on. So as I learned different things, one of the things I learned, not only the foods that we eat, that we put in our bodies that have been injected with hormones. A lot of meats have been injected with hormones. So of course, that's throw off our hormones. But even the products that we put on our bodies, the
Hmm.
lotions, the hair products, they found there was a connection between getting perms, how women get relaxers in their hair. It's a
Yeah.
connection to that and the issue of fibroids. They
Hmm.
found that the relaxers you put on your hair just really threw your body off. And I remember when I was pregnant with one of my children, I was telling my husband how the doctor said, well, try not to put any coloring in your hair or do anything like that while you're pregnant because it wouldn't be good for the unborn baby. And so my husband would say, well, what if you weren't pregnant and you put the dye in your hair? What's it doing to you? And I was like, man, that is
That's a
so
good
true.
point. Yeah.
These dyes that we put in our hair, chemicals, even the cleansing, like we clean our homes with
Yeah.
different kind of products that actually throw out. That's why a lot of autoimmune or disorders are going on. We're exposed to so much, not to mention just the pollution and everything in the environment.
Yes.
So what I wanted to just go over real quick, and Sheila, she pretty much touched on a lot. What I'm just going to be repeat is that as you go into pre-menopause, post-menopause, menopause, people do get a lot of hot flashes, but there's other symptoms, including heart palpitations, vertigo, weakness, fatigue, loss of sex drive, change in your skin tone, incontinence, weight gain, loss of memory, mood swings, headaches, anxiety,
Ooh.
hair problems, breast tenderness, thinning of the skin, dry vagina, painful intercourse, shortness of breath, and this is just to name a few. And it says 75% of all women will get this regardless of whether it was menopause, surgically, or naturally induced. And another thing I found interesting, and this is something I just posted the other day on my Facebook page, and then it stirred up a lot of comments just from this cute little post I saw where it was a woman in bed and she had a fan on her and a big glass of ice water and everything. And she said, how many people can relate to this when you're sleeping at night? People get so hot. And women of all ages were commenting and saying, that's me, that's me. And so I thought it was cute. One sister commented, she said, wait a minute, am I a sister of a particular age? Because I got all those symptoms too. So this is, this information which I got from a great herbalist named Judith Cobbs. I follow her because she deals with women issues. She says hot flashes and all these symptoms can begin as early as age 35 and as
Mm.
late as age 55. So a lot of time, and my computer is turning red, so let's pray I don't die out. But if I do, you guys got me. But it's like when you have these symptoms, you kind of, maybe ask your mom or your grandma, people in your family, well, when did your cycle end? And you can kind of pretty much tell, you may follow the same routine. Some people lose, going to menopause as early as in their 30s. I've heard women who
Wow.
didn't have a cycle no more after their 30s
Yeah.
and early 40s. So we could be going through the hormonal changes that we're talking about in, as early as 35. And one thing I do want to mention, I hope I get through it, is adrenal exhaustion. That is a common issue with women of that particular age because I found out myself and I called up Medina. I'm like, Medina, what's going on? And she said, oh, don't worry about it. It's common with women. You have the adrenal fatigue. And the adrenal glands are the two glands that are rest on top of your kidneys. And for women, for everybody really, you have to nourish your whole entire glandular system. A lot of times people are nourishing just the thyroid or nourishing just the area. If men are dealing with prostate, they're nourishing just the prostate or whatever. But the whole glandular system works together.
Your endocrine system. Yeah.
And so when we
Endocrine.
look at adrenal fatigue, women as early as premenopausal, their ovaries begin to slow down their hormone production on their eventual way to retiring completely. Her adrenal glands are expected to increase the production of androgen hormones that easily converted to fat cells. And it goes on to say how progesterone is needed. And, this is one reason we have hot flashes because of the adrenal fatigue. By the time most women have arrived to menopause, and I think that's 10 years before you actually stop your cycle, they have enough stress to exhaust the adrenal glands. So
Wow.
that's showing you early. And this is why you need things like vitamin B12, magnesium, and potassium, and vitamin C.
Yes.
And specific triggers for hot flashes can include your spicy foods, your acidy foods, hot drinks, caffeine, alcoholic beverages, white sugar, the fats. And so, yeah, this is a whole lot of information on adrenal support. We do have supplements for adrenal support that I think women should consider. And we have the vaginal dryness, what they call vaginal atrophy, because atrophy is when the muscle is dying out. So as we
Mm.
age, we don't have as much estrogen in our body. That's where you can have the painful intercourse. And so yeah, dietary change, all the things you guys pretty much covered already. Dietary change and all that is really important. But things like chamomile, passion flower, hops, they contain a good amount of vitamin B. Your C, your magnesium, your potassium, all aid in supporting your adrenal glands. So yeah, a lot, we always talk about the meat and how it can affect the adrenal and exhaust them. And so this article pretty much is saying everything you guys already said. So I had nothing else to say, but it's definitely saying how you need to exercise.
Yeah.
It's a direct impact on hot flashes.
Yes.
And
Right.
it's helping balance the hypothymus
Mm-hmm.
gland.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a lot of supplements. People are really excited to get with me. We do have a supplement called Flash Eve. It has black hawkosh. I don't know if you guys ever heard of black cohosh.
Yeah. I've heard of that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is good for women, especially if
Yeah.
you're dealing with hot flashes. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times women will say, Marguerite, I need some of that flash ease. So I'm like, okay, I order for them, they take it. And I'm like, is it working for you? Well, I only took it once and I didn't see a change. And so what people forget is you can't just take a herb or it's like anything else. You can't take it one time and expect your
Right.
whole life to change
Yeah.
over. You have
Right.
to definitely get it into the system.
Right.
And it's even
Right.
like the CBD oil. It's another natural herb that balances the system, and women are finding that it eases their hormonal symptoms, and
Yeah.
it even helps the sex drive and everything else. So
Yeah.
everybody's excited about that. And
Wonderful, Marguerite. I mean, so much information was shared here today.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We all
Absolutely.
glean, we could all glean from all of these healthy tips. If you had to um, wrap it up or sum it up in one thing, what would you say, Marguerite or Dawn?
well, I did want to mention one more thing before you
Oh,
go. Guys, you can contact me because I do have a scan for people who are local. You can put your hand on this device and it actually reads the body and tell you what supplements your body needs. And it has been very informative for myself, for my family, and a lot of my clients. So that's one thing I did want to include. And you guys
Oh,
know
okay.
me at
Yeah.
Mom's Herbs.
Yes. Yes.
okay. And Mom's Herbs to get the, what is it called? The health scan?
Called the Zyto Compass Scan.
I don't cop the scan. Thank you. All right.
Mhm.
And
Dawn,
if
any,
I had to sum it up in one word, learn about intermittent fasting. It really is an eye opener. I started just to give a relate what's going on with me. I like many have put on the COVID 10 or the COVID 10, and I've been trying to go back to my old ways of at least what I thought of trying to, get it off. And as soon as I started intermittent fasting, which I'm going on my third week, I hop on the scale. I'm like, oh, okay, not that happened, but I'll take it.
Oh, no.
I'll take it. Yeah. So, if I one thing I have to say, learn about that intermittent fasting. It
yeah,
really it can add another level of health in your day-to-day life. I can't say any more about it, but just learn about it.
I was really motivated around the time that our daughter Dacia and Tom, our son Tom, got married to lose some weight, and I was doing intermittent fasting, and I purchased a dress in Chicago that was one size. I went to Atlanta, the stores were open, and I found the same dress cheaper, but it was a smaller size. So I'm like, oh, smaller size, and it was just like 5 or 6 weeks that I
Yeah.
have been doing it. So it is very, very effective. Um,
Yes.
so there's so much information, right, all the time coming from everywhere. And so I always tell people to try, eliminating the bad things. Like, what's bad for you because
Yeah.
you're getting headaches, you're getting gas, you're not sleeping at night. What is upsetting your stomach. So be the CEO of your own health. Start eliminating those things. Start adding in some of the tips that we're recommending, some of the different supplements,
Yeah.
the superfoods, intermittent fasting, free weights and exercise, and just try something to see what works for you. Because what happens is if you get some results, you're gonna want to keep doing it, and
Yeah.
you just take little by little, gradual steps to get better. I wanted to, so that's my takeaway. You know, man up, boss up. The hormones are running things, so let's run
Yep.
things with the hormones, right?
Yep.
Let's boss up too, and
Yeah.
um, and take charge of your health. And
That's right.
I want to thank we haven't in the past,
Yes.
our super producer, who
Yes.
happens to be none other than Dacia.
Yes, indeed.
And
Yes, indeed. Yes, we thank God for. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dacia. And
You
Tom,
guys
thank you.
happy
Thank you for letting us have her.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. And so we're glad because she's helped us with our behind the scenes thing,
Yes,
our show and show flow and production, and the technical side of it. And then of course Tom Darnell, our graphic designer, keeps
yes,
our promos and our flyers up to date. So this is a family affair, and we're looking forward to continuing it. And we've talked about healthy lifestyle and weight loss and hormone balance today. And next month, not next week. Some of us next week, but next month, the second Tuesday of the month, we're going to have a special guest to join us at Sade TV who's going to talk about skincare and how
yes,
it's good from the inside out. how to work
Mhm.
on your skin from the inside out, right? And
Right.
a natural approach. She's a licensed esthetician, and she's doing a lot of good things. You can follow her on Instagram. I do at Sade TV. So we're looking forward to that. And if you guys want to see anything, um, any specific topics or issues that you might have, shoot us an email. Um, text us and let us know. We'll be happy to put together a show around those things.
Yeah.
Francesca is saying that she did the Fido scan before. It might be time to do another one. Sometimes you got to go back into your old bag of tricks and
Yeah.
pull
Yeah.
out stuff and refresh it. And if it worked for you, then figure that out
Right.
again. Um, so
And be kind to yourself. Just because you
yeah,
fall,
be
just
Yeah,
because you
the
fall
things
and you
to be
make a mistake
updated.
or whatever,
kind.
it's just a journey. A journey is like a journey. You have to keep
All
moving.
figuring this thing out. Like
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that has perfect health. I don't know anybody that's perfect balance.
Oh, we know one person. That's Jesus.
You're any person in the flesh is perfectly balanced. We're all working on it. So we're all in the same thing together.
That's
We might
right.
be different boats. We're all in the same water. We want to continue to offer this warm water for you guys to come in and get
Right.
support and get encouraged and get inspiration. So we thank you for being here. We thank you, Francesca. We thank you, Crystal. Kristel, Crystal, I think, Osborne Ebron, who said, Marguerite, you look fantastic to be turning 59 earlier. I saw her comment in the chat.
And JL said, happy birthday, sunshine.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You're our
Mhm.
sister in this fight as well.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
good information out, and you support us all the time, and we appreciate that. Um, and all of our other guests, some names I can't see, but we want to say good night. We want to
Yes.
say thank you.
Be safe
Um,
out there.
and keep
Computer got about 2 inches of juice.
Marguerite. What'd you say, Marguerite?
I said my computer got about 2 inches of juice on
Yay! Perfect time. Good night, everybody. Take
it.
care.
Good night. Love you
Thanks
guys.
for watching us. Thank you for tuning in to
See you
Vibe
next month.
on
Keep
Health.
vibing. Good
Yes,
vibes
keep
on
vibing.
health. And we'll see you soon.
Yes.
Love you.
Love y'all.
Mm.